I absolutely love PCC builders. Civilization, Anno, 2 Point Hospital, SimCity, Transport Tycoon, City Skylines, Settlers, Rollercoaster Tycoon, Caesar, Constructor, Stardew Valley, Minecraft, Townscaper, and my all-time favourite is Tropico. There's something for me about sitting down for 3 to 4 hours, making the games which have enemies or fail states peaceful, and just playing. Building something creatively, be that a building, town, city, or dynasty, and just enjoying an experience. Even those games which have a speed up ability, I play on regular speed because I just enjoy the relaxing nature of sitting down to play something fun for myself, where I don't have to worry about anything nasty cropping up unexpected. I can just have a personal bit of relaxing fun. You see, I've suffered greatly in my life with mental health. I have social anxiety so bad some days I have to close the curtains in my living room out of fear of people looking through the window and judging me. I have a debilitating depression that comes on so strong that I have attempted suicide 3 times in my life. I was bullied at 2 of my previous workplaces, one physically as well as verbally, and was abused physically in a previous relationship that took me basically 18 months to recover from, as the conditioning she put me under meant I unfortunately believed it was my fault for her hurting me. Now, mental health can go and stuff itself, but one thing that has helped me is the escape I get from painting miniatures and playing what I like to call chill games. And for me, Imperium Classics, which is all I have played because it's the only one I own, is the perfect definition of a chill game, one that I could sit at the table and play casually, solo, for 2 to 3 hours whenever I'm having mental health issues. Now, the style of this game is going to be a stumbling block for most people, as I want to preference how great this game is, but I also want you to know that it won't appeal to the majority. This game is most definitely not for everyone, and so please do your research fully on this before you consider buying it. You see, this is a deck builder where the aim of the game is to be the one with the most points at the end. You have a beautiful deck of cards with absolutely sensational artwork based around your chosen dynasty, be that Romans, Celts, Macedonians, Persians, or Vikings. There are 8 dynasties with their own individual cards and playstyles in this one, 20 quid box, and there are another 8 in the Imperium Legends box. Starting with a dynasty, you separate your cards into a few piles and start with your starting hand of 5 thematic cards that all do something of value by earning you new cards, be that acquiring new territory, envoys, technologies, fame, or resources. Those new cards are acquired from the marketplace in the middle of the board, along with Unrest and Glory cards. Unrest causes issues with your nation's growth by filling out your deck and then reducing points at the end of the game, whilst Glory grants you high point special cards that can really improve your endgame points, or even give you the opportunity to become the King of Kings, an endgame triggering ability. But basically, during your turn you have 3 choices: complete 3 actions or more if you have some free play cards and abilities, which is basically playing 3 cards in your hand, some of which, like regions, stay in play. You can innovate by discarding all the cards from your hand and get a card from the marketplace, an ability I've still not used myself, or you can revolt, which means you get rid of all the unrest from your hand to the unrest pile for the payment of not doing any actions. In terms of other choices you can make, you can use an ability called Exhaust. Basically, you have 5 tokens every turn, and if your card's in play have the Exhaust keyword, you can place one of them tokens on it to gain a specialist ability, like for instance Mysticism grants you a free action every turn if you need it. You also have the Solstice action after clean up of your turn, which can give you helpful abilities like removing unrest, or hindrances like making you take unrest or discarding cards from your hand depending on the cards you have in play. But the game basically sees you playing cards to acquire new ones with special abilities that have endgame points values, discarding older unused cards that you can't put in your history to whittle down your deck, cycling through your deck to get your own dynasty specialist cards, and then eventually becoming an empire after starting out as a barbarian state to earn some of the highest point cards. This is a race game where you can play at various speeds depending on how your nation of choice makes the most points, and so the tactics come from you making the right choices in the marketplace to earn those endgame points, or help your deck out in the short term to remove cards or gain others. There's a load of tactical decisions to make during the game, as every nation is very individual and wants to achieve different goals on the board. Macedonia wants to expand quickly to achieve glory points. Romans want to expand to earn more points and are able to expel unrest easier. Celts want to gain the lower technologies and earn resources. Greeks want to become an empire fast and earn the higher technologies. Persians want to subjugate people by gaining loads of the blue cards, and Vikings acquire a load of cards and territory but don't have any history, so struggle to cycle through the deck quite often. Every nation has such a great nuance to them, and I've now played with or against each nation, and every game has been different. Some have been short to go for glory rushes, some have been very long let's empty the marketplace games, and one I had to deal with the AI consistently causing unrest for me deck, and I was having to consistently hold revolts to remove the unrest cards from my hand. Mainly because one of the endgame triggers is having no unrest cards in the market, along with the market deck being empty, you going through all your development cards, or becoming the king of kings. The speed of the game depends on the type of victory your nation wants, but someone rushing for a certain endgame condition could miss out on them specialist cards that earn you more endgame points. And in one game I found myself going for more high point glory cards and development cards, but I lost because the AI got more technologies and resources and earned more points because of bonuses. So you really do need to think about your strategy as soon as your turn starts. Look at what's on offer in the market, what cards you have in your hand or deck, and be adaptable to not just go for one certain type of game, much like in the Civilization game where you could be going for a cultural victory and all of a sudden Ganzi goes into the nuclear age and suddenly all bets are off. You're developing planes and tanks to decimate the swine before he nukes you. Also, make the most of your abilities. Sometimes garrisoning cards in regions can be beneficial if you don't believe you'll be using them anytime soon, because you can then cycle through your deck a little bit faster. It's not often you want to have this huge stack of cards to cycle through, especially if you have no way of depleting ones quickly. So take your time and think your turn through, especially since this is a time hog anyway. I sure about other deck builders with a rush mechanic to get to the end game, but this one is lengthy. On average, I've been sat at the table for 2 to 3 hours. One game the other day took me 4.5 as I cycled through the enemy market and glory deck, and for most people sitting at the table for that amount of time just isn't possible or enjoyable, but for me it fits back into why I play certain games on PC. Whenever I play this game I become engrossed in the mechanics, theming and tactical gameplay. Having a tough day with rowdy kids or nursing your youngest who's just had a tonsillectomy can really get you down, and me and the wife took it in turns looking after him and having breaks. The wife caught up with some Netflix show and I sat down to play this on the kitchen table, and I just found it so relaxing to just play some cards and engross myself in an experience that naught else in my board game collection gives me. I sat at that table every single afternoon and just lost myself in the game. I didn't care whether I won or lost. I just wanted a relaxing experience to ease my mind, and on the third day I found myself needing a bit of escape. We'd been kept up all night by the little man, and since we were both so absolutely knackered, we really wanted to take the pain away from him, whilst also considering him sending him back to the hospital because he just wore eating. Things were starting to play on both our minds, and I could feel the anxiety panic setting in. Come the afternoon, I sat on the table, played a game of this and calmed down. It really helped with me relaxation process, since I could just focus on something to ease my mind, and we obviously persevered with the Calpol, and next day he was a little bit better. Yeah, he still had some small issues, but he was finally eating, and over the weekend he improved greatly to become the little terror who likes to steal me board game pieces on the table again. Seeing him a attacking the bot deck with a little smile on his face is amusing, as the bot here is so well designed for such a simple set of rules. It's often so difficult to beat that I'm sure many people wouldn't mind the odd card being took away by a toddler. You see, the solo rules aren't too dissimilar to the main games in terms of your actions and exhaust tokens, but the bot does have its own little rules in terms of rolling a dice to see which cards out of 5 on the board they use, along with the roll determining where they place the victory point token. Yes, I know it's called progress, but it looks like a V, and they also expel cards from the market based on the lowest number without the token on them, thus making you question if you should go for a certain card, wouldn't mind in your deck during your turn, or shouting damn if the bot claims it themselves and it has an effect which comes back to bite you. Every nation has their own chart in the back of the solo rulebook for you to match symbols up from the cards to determine what they do, and with them getting 4 to 5 card flips a turn, they can cycle through their decks and become empires very fast, meaning you have to really think about what you've got in on and how you will get more points for an endgame. Every chart really does go with the theme of the nation the bot is playing, but there is one big error in the rulebook with the bot deck that, unless you're privy to, can destroy your game, as the unrest cards the bot flips over will go back into the unrest pile. It's a huge error really, and will no doubt be patched into the next iteration of the rulebook, but it's there on mine and everyone else's at the minute, and as I'm not the biggest online communicator, I probably would have missed it if not for the YouTube videos highlighting the mistake. And talking about the rulebook, can I just say that it's pretty crap. I need to be honest and say I watched many playthroughs online before I played it myself, so I got a big grasp of the gameplay and could run through my first game without needing to consult the book. But after looking through it the other day, I don't think it would have been as easy for me to do that if we were back in the late 90s with dial-up AOL and I had to learn this one myself. The rulebook gives you the rules, setup is fine, but it's just not explained well enough, and I did have to thoroughly reread the other actions like revolt and exhaust to make sure I was doing everything correct. So I would honestly say to you, if you're interested, please watch some videos on how to play this on YouTube. I found the one from Osplay themselves the best, but what they do is also show you the length of the game, as the video is about 2.5 hours long. Whilst highlighting things that's bad with the game though, I also want to talk about how poor the quality of the cards are. I know I've played this, 7 times now, but my cards are already starting to warp. Sleeves seem to be expensive still in the UK, so I'm stuck for a minute, but having cards already bending for me, great, along with the cheap feeling cardboard tokens for resources where a couple of mine have already started to fray. I suppose there's a reason this game costs as cheap as it does. It's literally 20 quid in most places. It's cheaper than a blooming Mackey's for a family of 6, so you need to know that I fully recommend sleeving your cards. Please buy some whenever you've got a chance to pick this up, as stocks are very low right now because of its well-deserved popularity. But in terms of the other issue I have, it's one that don't really affect me because I'm a solo gamer, but I wouldn't ever like to play this game as a group. One-on-one maybe, but if you're playing 3 or 4 people with the extra cards in the deck, I have the feeling this will take an entire goddamn day to play it. I really do think this will be a 40k apocalypse event, essentially, if you don't know what you're doing, and I would probably hate this game if I was to ever play this like that. Solo, it's amazing, but some games just don't work well in a group play, as you would be sat there twiddling your thumbs probably for 10 to 15, maybe even 20 minutes before it goes back to your turn on a good day where everyone knows the rules. Heaven forbid you're playing 3 to 4 players and teaching them, because you'll probably be waiting 40 minutes to a goddamn hour, and so if you're considering this, I would consider it for solo only, as that's where I feel this game really shines. This is a single player civilization game on the tabletop. You need to commit 2 to 3 hours to it, but for me it's the ultimate chill game. This is a game I'll whip out whenever I'm feeling a bit down, and regardless of the result, I'll just play it and enjoy the experience. Hopefully I've given you something to think about anyway, as this to me is sensational, but please do your research on it, watch out of plays, watch playthroughs, and check other people's opinions, as you need to decide if it's something that you'll also enjoy. But for me, if you're looking for the perfect solo deck builder, this for me is the holy grail right here. Regardless, please leave me a like if you got this far, and I hope you'll enjoy it if you get it.